Welcome, boils and ghouls, to the third season of the Cryptique Podcast. My name's Kenny.
And my name's Godden.
And together we're here to watch and review every horrific, often hilarious episode of the legendary HBO anthology series, Tales from the Crypt. And like I said, we're here on season number
3.
Season number 3. Oh, this is exciting. We are making it through these episodes, and last season was pretty good. I liked last season.
There was a couple of okay ones, but yeah, a lot of bangers. A lot of bangers.
Yeah. So you all are watching this right now before Godden and I recorded those best of and worst of episodes. Godden's visiting for a few days, so we're busting out some episodes. We're watching some episodes and just recording these episodes as soon as possible. So we're foregoing the ranking videos for now. So you all know how we ranked last season. We don't know that yet, so don't say anything. Okay, that's just a little behind the scenes of what's going on here at Tales from the Crypt. So today on the Cryptique Podcast, we are here to talk about season 3, episode number 1, Loved to Death. This is the season premiere, and as a special season opener, so far this season, the Tales from the Crypt have had the first 3 episodes all air at the same time, or the same night, right?
Yeah.
The first 3 episodes of season 1, the first 3 episodes of season 2, and they're doing it again this time, the first 3 episodes of season 3. So we decided that we would do the same thing. So all 3 episodes that premiered at the same time for season 3, we're going to premiere all on the same day. So if you're watching this the day it's released, you can actually go back into YouTube and search for the following 2 episodes. So all 3 of these episodes are going to be released at the same time. Godden, that is amazing.
I'm excited to release 3, either staggered throughout the day or just all at once.
I'm thinking we might even premiere them.
Okay.
Premiere them and stagger them throughout the day. So maybe there will be a short delay between this episode and the next episode, but by the end of today, you'll be able to have watched all 3 episodes. So let's go. You ready for episode 1 of season 3?
Are you ready for episode 1?
I don't know yet. I don't know. So Love to Death, this along with the following 2 episodes premiered June 15th, 1991. And this episode comes to us from the comic Tales from the Crypt. And Godden, what was going on? Set the stage for us. We just had a year off from the last episode or so?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So what's been going on in the world while we've been waiting patiently for season 3 of Tales from the Crypt?
So from what I've gathered, exactly on June 15th, 1991, unfortunately, there was a big, volcanic eruption in the Philippines. It's actually one of the biggest ones that happened. And then they also had a typhoon. So I guess there was just a big, huge natural disaster that they had to deal with, but that happened.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they were ready for Tales from the Crypt as soon
Yeah.
as they cleaned up all the disaster.
Well, for those of you who don't know, who are watching from home, you're Filipino.
I am Filipino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Philippines just had the devastating, you said volcano?
Eruption, and then a day after it was a typhoon.
Oh my gosh.
So they just doubled up.
Oh, horrendous time down there in the Philippines. So our heart goes out to the Philippines in this time.
30 years ago?
30 years ago. But I've got to tell you, what a way to bring the world together by watching some fantastic horror. Well, that's kind of a downer note. There's nothing else that happened positive.
Here, I will double check. The World Wide Web would be open to the general society in 91.
Wow.
So that is a big impact as well.
Wow. And here we are, this many years later, you're watching on the World Wide Web.
For that.
Wow. Very, very cool.
Full circle.
Very, very cool.
So in between the time of us waiting for the new Tales from the Crypt, the It series, the mini-series, had been released in November 1990. It.
Oh, wow.
With Tim Curry.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So this is like prime time for television.
Yes.
I think, because that was some fantastic television back in the day. I did watch that. in my room, kind of,
Premiere?
during its premiere, kind of, trying to hide away from my mom from me watching that show. I do remember kind of hiding watching that show. I think not because necessarily it was so scary. It was just, it premiered late, I remember. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, which is pretty late. I don't remember exactly what time it premiered, but I remember I was supposed to be sleeping.
Stayed up for the spooky, scary stories.
I did. So fantastic. Nice. So, okay. Well, that brings us to talking about the actual episode on hand. Now, before we get there, I have to give the disclaimer like I give every single episode. We are not professionals. This is a hobby of ours. We're just friends who are eager to watch this show together and to talk about it. We want a place to share our thoughts. And we also want to share this platform with the community. So if you're out there and you have any thoughts that you want to share, please don't hesitate. Reach out, comment, let us know what you're thinking. Also, spoiler warning, we are going to go into great detail on this episode. If you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, then go watch the episode on your own, come back and hear us go on about it. All right. So let us now talk about the episode by reading you the ancient text inked in human blood, bound in human flesh on the back of the DVD box set. All right. Loved to death. Now try to get rid of her. A wannabe writer gives the woman of his dreams a powerful love potion. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Let's see here. Here's my version that I whipped up for you. Edward is in love with his beautiful neighbor, Miranda. Miranda thinks Edward is awkward and creepy. Desperate for her attention, Edward slips Miranda Love Potion to force her into loving him. But is Edward asking for more than he can handle?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We'll never know. We will know. Stay tuned. All right. So that's the general setup of the episode. Now, before we really get into it, Godden, the world wants to know, what are your overall thoughts before we get into the episode?
It's a decent episode. You can't have all 3 good episodes in a premiere. That's what I've learned from 3 seasons so far. But it's a different take. And yeah,
this was a rough premiere.
A rough episode 1 premiere.
This is a rough episode 1 of the premiere. Yeah. If I had really been on board in the time of Tales from the Crypt, having gone through season 1, having gone through season 2, and then finally waiting all this time and finally sitting down to watch this episode, this season premiere, I would have been disappointed. Did not. This was a bummer. It's one thing if you just have to wait one day and then pop in the next DVD. Who cares?
Right.
But if you're waiting like almost an entire year for this next episode to come out, I didn't like this episode. There were some good things with it, though. There are some scenes where he is in, remember that, the manager character.
Yes.
Whoever that is.
Mr. Stronum.
Mr. Stronum.
Stronum.
So the scenes with him and when he's in that weird, mysterious room, I do like those. Those are well done. The setup was okay. The setup was a little similar to another Tales from the Crypt episode, which I think did it a lot better. Maybe we'll talk more about that at the end. But I just felt like it was done better already. I feel like this episode is kind of rehashing stuff that Tales from the Crypt has already done better.
Right.
Well, let's get into it. The opening Crypt Keeper intro, there's like a Cupid character with a heart, and the Crypt Keeper is shooting arrows at it. And he says, dying for a date, arching for a little prick of passion. And at that moment, he shoots the arrow right into the heart in the Cupid. He says, well, be careful what you wish for, or like the young man in tonight's tale, you may just get it. I call this nauseating number loved to death.
I love that intro.
Might be the best part of this episode. Okay, so the opening panel is it's a clever one. I do like it. You've got the main character Edward being like basically swooned and almost harassed and attacked by the woman who's just enamored and completely in love with him. She's all dressed up in her like a lingerie. She's grabbing up on him, and he's just completely like has his hands up, like, get away from me. And my favorite part of this, though, is Cupid.
Yeah. Baby Cupid with a very sinister grin, you know?
Yeah. Basically, the Cupid wants to right shoot his arrow of love, and he's like, no, stop. And the face of Cupid is basically the Mr. What's his name?
Stronum.
Mr. Stronum, yeah.
Yeah, that's the manager.
I like this one. This is the decent one. Very, very bright red, very, very lovey-dovey colors in it. And it is nice to have the tables turned, right? Because normally, especially in this time, you have the cliche of the man who's all up in the girl's business and trying to be all up touchy-feely, and this is the reverse of that. So it's actually kind of nice, especially given the time. I think it's nice to see that reversal there. So the opening scene of the episode is like it starts off with like a computer screen, and you see that there's writing on the page basically saying fade in, interior, honeymoon kitchen, day, and then it kind of fades, and then you see the reality. So we're in the kitchen, it's daytime, and there's all kinds of baked goods going on, and just lots of home ec things going on. And the woman is there, and she's cooking, and she's got the most ridiculous blonde hair.
Yeah.
They did a pretty poor job with the wig on this, but I think on purpose though. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, it's unfortunate you can notice it's a wig, but I totally tell they're trying to make her a blonde for this one. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's so over the top fake. It's very superficial, and I think that's the way he's fantasizing this scene as he's typing it. Very, very superficial. He just wants a blonde woman, basically, and I just think like it's just I guess it paints a clear picture as to how he's seeing it in his head, which is very superficial and overly sexualized. So eventually, the man who's the main character gets home, and he brings flowers, and she's so happy to see him, and they make martinis, and they get ready to have their martinis together, and he says, "I got a raise," and she's so happy for him. She goes, "Oh, now we can buy that beautiful RV." I guess he wants an RV. I don't know. It never comes up again. And she takes one drink of her drink. He throws it away. And she says, "Christ, I need you right now." And the woman just takes him, throws him onto the table, and they just begin to make passionate. No, they don't make passionate love. She unzips him.
Yes,
she does. Him. She looks down and she bites her hand and she says, "Oh my God, it's practically talking to me." This is a very, very perverted scene. This guy is really into it, though. Who's the guy who's writing it? Well, the guy who's writing it, this turns out to be Edward. Yeah, Edward. So we're back in his apartment, and he's basically writing this scene. And he gets up to take a little break, and he turns on the water to his faucet, and there's no water coming out of his drain there, or no, his faucet.
His faucet,
yeah, no water. So he leaves to go talk to the super. Right, the manager of the apartment complex. He goes to the super, who is Mr. Stronum, and basically nobody's ever seen Mr. Stronum. He's like a mysterious character, but there's a camera outside the door that basically kind of, zooms in and kind of moves around to look at the lobby area. And it's through the camera that he's talking to Mr. Stronum. He basically says, "I don't have any water." And Mr. Stronum says, "Yeah, I know. I'll get it fixed." And there are a few shots inside where Mr. Stronum is. And you don't see him, but you see the microphone that he's speaking through. You see him smoking a cigarette. You see the billows of smoke all over the place, and you can hear his raspy breathing and his coughing. So it's very, very mysterious character. Anyway, in this moment, we meet an old lady who also lives in the apartment complex, and I like this old lady. To me, this is the MVP.
Is it MVP?
Yeah. This is the MVP of the episode. I love this woman. She's so great. Talk about what do you call it? Where like you subverting expectations, right? You think she's going one way, but she's going. It's funny. So they start talking, and I like how she grabs his dirty laundry. She grabs his boxers. She goes, "Boxers? These will never get you anywhere," or something like that.
Yeah, just like. Your neighbor just grabbing your dirty laundry, just airing it out. It's like,
right.
This won't help you. It's
right.
Like, why? Why do that?
She's not a fan of a man in boxers.
Not. Tidy whities. Nighty-whities.
So she learns that he's a screenwriter, and she basically says, you're probably making one of those gratuitous movies with all the language and nudity. And which he is, by the way, right?
He is.
Yeah.
By the script, he is. Yeah.
By what we witness of the script, that's exactly what he's writing. But I think he's embarrassed. He says, no, I'm writing something wholesome. Something you can take your kids to see. Even your grandmother. And this is why I like the woman so much. She's leaving. She's getting ready to close her door, and she goes, "That's a shame." I think she really wants that raunchy, dirty writing.
He misses that.
Have you ever read like a romance novel,
50 Shades of Grey,
or something like that?
No,
or
no.
I have not.
No, it's not my genre.
No, I've never read something like that either. I'm sure it gets pretty raunchy.
I'm sure.
I think that's why the girls like it. I never read one, but yeah, she wants something like that. She doesn't want something that's, wholesome. Anyway, that's why I like her, though. She's really funny. After this interaction, Edward goes downstairs into the laundry room, and this is where he finds Miranda. Mm-hmm. And did Miranda just move in, or did Edward just move in? Because I get the impression these two never saw each other, Miranda and Edward.
Yeah, it does feel like they're new neighbors, whoever moved in first, but he really wants to introduce himself really badly.
Yeah. They live relatively close to each other, and they've never, I get the impression they never met. Because when he goes downstairs, he sees her, and he's just blown away. But at the same time, she's on the phone, and she's like yelling at somebody over the phone. And this is where you get the impression that she's like a young actress, and she's really trying to land a role. And she's basically, she's yelling at somebody named Walter, right? Basically telling him, like, you get me that role. I don't care what I have to do. I'll go topless, full frontal nudity. I don't care. I'll do whatever I have to do. Basically, she's yelling at this guy about this. And while she's doing this, she's putting her clothes in the laundry. She takes her top off, takes her bra off to put it into the laundry. So she's like, this woman's willing to go full frontal nudity anywhere.
She just, that comfortable, like as if it's her own home, where she can just do that. Well, she probably felt like it was relatively empty. It was just her. But I guess, anybody could have just went down there and just called her out for it.
And here's something that I was thinking about while I was watching this episode. And it'll come up again and again and again as we go through the episode. Do you think she is aware that Edward is there and she's either seducing him or shining him on in some way?
It's kind of hard because sometimes with the acting, they elaborate a lot. Mm-hmm. And there was no subtlety. She seemed very busy, just distracted with her own world, right? She was on the call. She was just frustrated doing her own thing.
I guess you're right. Yeah. It makes sense in my head that she is, because she's very, very forward and provocative with her body. So much so that it makes me think that maybe she's up to something, messing with Edward and his expectations of her. I don't know. I got that impression.
I can see that.
I just don't like any of the characters, so I wouldn't put it past her. I guess is what I'm saying. But yeah, she goes full frontal nudity on this in the most Tales from the Crypt way you can, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Classy.
Very classy. Very classy, this Tales from the Crypt show. I tell you, we picked a good show to actually go through and watch. So if you want your breastises, this is an episode for you. And but basically, while this is going on, Edward's hiding behind boxes. So he's being like a creepy voyeur kind of a dude, right? So I don't like this guy character either. He's Tales from the Crypt has an interesting way of forcing you to go along with the villain, or forcing you to go along with a character who is very sinful in a way that you sympathize with the character. That's kind of how this show goes.
Yes.
And this episode in particular, I do not like the main character. We're supposed to like him. He's our main character. He's the one that we're supposed to be following along. I don't like him. I really don't. And this paints him in a way that I think is gross. Just sitting there being all lurky like that. It reminds me of what's-his-face from The Love Triangle.
Would you be more comfortable if it was Rick Moranis, Judd Nelson, or Martin Short would have starred as Edward instead? Because they went for this role.
I remember you told me this. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought it up again because I forgot about this. Yeah, when you brought this up the first time, Rick Moranis would have been fantastic. He would have made this character, he would have made it work, I feel. Yeah, he would have made it work much better. he would have had that look to his face, that, oh my God, I'm really looking at this kind of a face. It would have worked so well. This guy just made it creepy.
I see. Yeah.
Rick Moranis, where were you? Where were you in the filming of this episode? Because I do not like Edward. I don't like this character. So Miranda does her little, topless scene for a bit. She puts her clothes back on and then she goes upstairs. That's the moment, basically.
Pretty much.
I don't know if she really didn't see Edward or she was pretending not to see him. Either way, whatever. So after this whole scene, while Edward's going back to his room, he's being watched by that camera again in the lobby. He actually asks Mr. Stronham, he basically says, Mr. Stronham, there's this beautiful woman living in the building. And before he can even elaborate, Mr. Stronham responds, oh yeah, that's Miranda Sings. Tells him right away. Like he knew exactly who it was. He knew exactly what he wanted. And then he ended it saying, you're welcome. So Mr. Stronham's over there stirring the pot. So maybe I kind of like the Mr. Stronham character. I kind of like that he's got his tendrils and everything that's going on in the apartment complex.
I kind of wonder, does he have cameras in those units? Because he's the manager. Do you think he's like mischievous enough?
Maybe. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if there was. It would be gross.
It would be
the
gross.
only thing we're given, the only information we have is that one camera that's right outside.
Yeah.
Right. So I just think that he spends his time watching that one camera and he kind of observes the comings and goings of all of his tenants. I think that's what he's more interested in. Okay. That's what the impression I get. So at this point, now that Edward knows her name, he goes back to his script and he goes to that woman character that he made, that blonde woman that he made, and he does basically control find and replace all of, I think her name was Louise. And he changes all of the Louise names to Miranda.
Yeah.
And this is a weird part. After he does that, he goes to Miranda's apartment. Right. And he introduces himself to her. While she's there, he's basically also still arguing with that person on the phone. I guess it's Walter on the phone. He's still arguing about getting that role. So Edward's kind of just sitting there minding his own business. No, he's not. No. While she's arguing with him on the phone, Edward just starts like going through her mail.
Just casually goes to like her like office desk area. And just picks it up, casually.
Yeah. And that bothered me back when What's-His-Face was doing it from the, what was that episode where, the ventriloquist dummy. Do you remember where he just was like helping himself to things in the house?
Yes.
Yeah, that bothered me back then too. So this character's doing that same thing. So that bothered me too. But anyway, he tried to make conversation with her on the mail, basically saying, oh, look, you're getting mail from Indiana. I'm from Indiana. Like what? Like what's just a weird way to make conversation. But I think, is this also the point where he tells her that he had changed all the names or had changed the name of his character to her name? Just when he tells her that?
No, that's a little bit later, pretty sure. Yeah, that should be a little bit later. Yeah.
That might have happened a little bit later. Yeah. Either way, it's a creep move.
It's a lot of back and forth.
That's another thing too, is there's only a handful of scenes. There's only a handful of settings, I guess. There's his apartment, there's her apartment, there's the super's apartment, there's the lobby, and there's the washroom downstairs, the washer dryer room, the laundry room.
And the elevator scene.
Oh, and the elevator, right. But they constantly go from place to place to place to place to place. So the episode seems like it's going at a fast pace because there's constant scene changes, but it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere.
No,
it's just it's not much happening here. It's kind of boring. It goes back and forth. So at this point, he doesn't tell her yet that he changed the names, but he's going through her mail. So she kicks him out. She opens the door again and says, "Why don't you come back? Look, sorry I was being rude. Why don't you come back and maybe we can have a drink?" Right. And then she hurries back into the house. She's still on the call the whole time, by the way, the whole time this is happening. So again, do you think she's shining him on? Do you think that she's, trying to seduce him just to kind of play with him?
See, I think if you were just to read it, maybe you can take it that way. But how it's portrayed on the screen, she was on the call and then she seemed very busy. And then, she just had like, oh, by the way, you just come for a drink sometime. We can do that as a probably a way to say, hey, I'm sorry for what happened. Because I think at any moment, if she were to put the phone away or like make it seem like she had his full attention and made that comment, then I would have been, I think she's leading him on. Mm-hmm. But I think because valid distractions, I think she was just in the middle of everything. That's it.
You're probably right. Just that's the way I read it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't want to like her as a character. So I think I'm just seeing her that way. This is an interesting episode. You could tell I really don't like it. I'm really bitter that this is how they started off the season.
It's okay. Episode 2, it's a little more fun.
Oh, I know episode 2. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so what happens next here? What happens next?
He goes back to his apartment, fantasizes again.
Oh, is this the next fantasy that he has with her?
Yeah, and the poster is looking at her, at him, and it's her face on it. Because the poster is like an old timey movie. The main character and the love interest usually has a side profile, but it changes to her looking at him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I remember that. I do remember that. Strange. Very strange, very active imagination man. Okay. And his active imagination would lend you to think that he's a very playful character by nature, right? Very fantastical type of person. But he's so awkward. Rick Moranis would have did a much better job with this.
Or Martin Short. Or Judd Nelson.
Yeah. Martin Short, too. That would have been fun with Martin Short. Yeah. He's got some good facial expressions. So that night, he goes for their dinner date. Or no, for their drink date. And he actually brings flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to the door. He knocks. Nobody's home. But he's just, I guess at this point, he doesn't go back home and says, well, never mind, I guess. He like lingers in the lobby for hours. So he's lingering out there. She finally comes back and she's bringing back a man with her. And just as they're getting ready to go into the apartment, she looks over and sees that he's waiting with flowers and basically says, oh, hi, pretty flowers. Got yourself a midnight rendezvous? And he's kind of just sitting there looking dumbfounded, kind of like, yeah, I guess so. While this is all going on, also, that camera from Mr. Stronham, the super, is watching the whole situation. And this is where he says, see you soon, kid. See you soon. And then he starts laughing in a cloud of smoke. So he's this very mysterious man. Very mysterious super there is just watching everything going on.
Yeah, I actually kind of enjoy that character because, when you see him, he's not saying anything kind of like weird or kind of rude or anything, but definitely is trying to do something mischievous. Like his actions are just smoking and laughing, coughing about it. It's like, yeah, I'll see you soon. Like, there's something up, but we don't know yet. Yeah. There's something up.
He's definitely the one that's up to something.
Yeah.
And his motives are interesting. We'll get to his motives later, but I'm not sure what he's really up to, really. So this next scene, I don't know if it's the next day or what, but he's in the elevator and Miranda comes in and they start talking. And Miranda basically says, oh, I'm really sorry. I stood you up, didn't I? I didn't realize that, you were waiting for me or whatever it was. So she basically says, well, why don't you come up to my place? We'll have a drink. So they go up to her place. They have a drink. And at this point, she gets another call. No, this is where he tells her that he changed all of the name
once
to
he gets
her.
in there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at this point, he finally tells her, look, I changed the name of the main character love interest in my book or my script to your name. And I think that kind of creeps her out. So she's like, okay, well, whatever. She takes a call, turns around and says, oh, you can let yourself out. And he doesn't leave, though.
Not yet.
Ugh, he's such a weirdo.
This is a creepy scene.
I know. So he starts fantasizing that Miranda is Louise from the book.
Right.
At this point, Miranda is Miranda because he changed the name. But she's back to her blonde hair, and he walks up to her, and he starts grabbing her hair and massaging her shoulders, and then kissing her neck, and then wrapping his hands around her stomach from behind. And he's actually doing this, and it freaks Miranda out. So she's like, what are you doing? So she kicks him out. No, she slaps him.
Or a punch.
She's
across the face.
Right. She slaps him or punches him across the face, calls him a little nitwit weasel, kicks him out. These characters are not made for each other. I don't know what is going on. No. Is this also where she said, you want to go out with me, don't you?
Yes. It's the exact same one.
So she's on to him. She knows that he wants to go out with her. And she basically says, it's not going to work out. Basically, she's honest with him. She says, look, I can't do anything for you. You can't do anything for me. When you make millions off your script, you come back and let me know. Basically, when you have money, come back and let me know. She wants money. She wants money. Yeah. APM?
APM is, she said, like, you don't make a lot of money, but if you do, just let me know. 8 p.m.
What is 8 p.m.?
I think she said any day. Just 8 p.m. would be a dinner date.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. The next scene, he is at the door of the super and he's trying to pay his rent. He goes to slip the envelope under the door and the door opens. So this is our first reveal into the apartment of the super, and it's very creepy in there, very dark. As he's making his way through the rooms, he sees that there's a wall filled with pictures of beautiful women. And at this point, like a curtain opens up, revealing the super there with the panel of screens behind him. And at this point, they start, talking. And I love this scene. I thought this was really good how they played with the smoke and how he's smoking a cigarette. He'll blow a cloud of smoke and then he'll lean back and disappear.
Right.
And then he'll blow another cloud of smoke and lean forward and appear out of the smoke. It was done so well. I really enjoyed all the scenes with this super, especially.
This might be like a random tangent, but think about it now. This kind of reminds me of Wizard of Oz. Like no one knows what he looks like, and then the curtains unveil, and you meet him, right? So
pay no attention to the man behind the curtains. Yes.
So yeah, that just kind of brought up just now. I'm like, oh
yeah,
there's
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a little bit of the Wizard of Oz here. I like this. Okay, so basically, Mr. Stronham has a way to help. He offers Edward a little vial of love
in a heart bottle.
And now I mentioned that this episode is very similar to another Tales from the Crypt episode, which was Till Death.
Yes.
That was another Love Potion episode. And that was another Love Potion episode that I liked a lot more. They did it much better in that one. In that one, he gave her the Love Potion. She died, but then came back to life because she was still in love with him and the potion was still working. And basically, she couldn't die. She just was constantly at him. And I like that. That's a lot of fun. This, I kept waiting for something like that to happen, but it didn't. So it was very strange. It was like setting up a certain expectation. It didn't fulfill, and the one it did fulfill was very strange. I didn't like this episode altogether. And anyway, the reason I say all that is because Mr. Stronham mentions, I didn't make the love potion. I just acquired it. I wonder if it's the same love potion. I wonder if it's the same recipe or the same character who made it. I forget the name of the character who made it in that episode, Till Death, but I wonder if it's the same recipe.
I don't think so, because how the ending comes, it doesn't line up with how the potion worked in that season, in that episode.
Okay.
I think that's why I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she can die, right? Or maybe, maybe. Or maybe she's allowed to die now that he died.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway. So now that he has a love potion, he goes back to her apartment and he basically says, look, she doesn't want him there, right? Also. And he says, look, just have a drink. I'm sorry, right? But he slips her that love potion. He takes it. She stares right at him. She downs it. She puts it down and she's like, now leave. She wasn't having it, right? I like this. Is actually a good scene. This is actually a good shot here. So she goes to her bed and sits down, waiting for him to leave. And he basically walks into the door frame, and it's shot from low. So you see his legs coming down from either side. And basically she's staring there right in between his legs. Yeah,
she's like at the apex of the triangle.
Right.
beneath the groin.
Right.
As she's making a phone call.
And she looks up at him, right, from under his legs, basically, the way the shot is done. And at this point, she just sudden passion just courses through her. And she's so longing for him, and she grabs him and she throws him onto the bed and she starts kissing him. And she says, Christ, you taste good.
I love this reaction. I know.
And I like how she says, Christ, you taste good. Because remember, the way he wrote it in the book was, she says, Christ, it looks like it's smiling at me.
Right.
So her exasperation there, Christ. That's exactly like his woman. That's who he fantasized about. So seems to be working out for him so far.
Yeah.
The next morning, they're laying in bed, and she basically wants to go again. She wants to keep having him, and he's exhausted. He's like, no, right? We've been going all night. She just wants to keep making love again and again and again. And basically, there's a kind of a long montage of, him trying to go out and do something, but she wants to make love, and then he wants to, do some writing, but then she wants to make love, and then it goes back and forth and back and forth. So this man is being loved to death.
That's how he wants it. I don't know why he's complaining. Any guy in their fantasy land would accept this, but for him, I guess reality is just different.
Yeah. And even when he's had the final straw and he's got to go, he's got to get out of the room, he slaps her across the face. She falls onto the bed and she looks at him and she says, "You can never hurt me." So he finally gets out of the apartment. He goes back to Mr. Stronham's office and he basically says, and when he goes there, he notices that the wall of photos of the portraits of the women now includes Miranda. So these all must be the women that he has, helped a man lure with that love potion.
I wonder if he's ever used one for himself.
Yeah, that's interesting because he did say later that he's never met any of those women.
It's weird.
Yeah. But he's never met any of those women. I think this is a wall of women that he has helped other men seduce with that love potion. That basically brings me to, what is his motive?
I don't know.
Yeah, what is he getting out of this? Is he really just Cupid and setting these people up together is fulfilling to him, or is he getting something from this?
See, that's what I think bothers me as well in the episode, because him being a writer doesn't mean anything. Usually part of the identity of the character, it tells a lot of the story, but just him being a writer doesn't do anything at all.
Right, he could have been an architect.
He's just a horny pervert.
Right.
And he fantasizes about every interaction with her. So
yeah, he didn't have to be a writer for that all to take place. You're right. He's just a horny pervert.
And we don't know the motive for the manager. There's a lot of unanswered questions that we're not used to from good episodes or stronger episodes.
Yeah.
But
so Mr. Stronham gives him a serum, like a poison, basically. It says, look, the only way you can handle this is to have her drink this and she'll go away. And he says, no, I can't do it. But while he's struggling to come to terms with, potentially killing her with this poison, she's at the door, right? Saying basically, honey, where are you? Where are you? I miss you. So he's like, all right, maybe I can do it. So he goes back to the apartment, and this is actually pretty clever. I do like this part. He dumps the potion in, or dumps the poison in, right? Fills both glasses with the wine, and then he leaves. And he gave her the glass that had the poison in it, but she looks at the other glass and sees a lipstick stain on the other glass, and she says, I should have the dirty glass. So she switches the glasses because the other one was more dirty, and she could not give the love of her life a dirty glass. That was funny.
I love that. Yeah. That's the twist.
You're right.
Because she cares so much and loves him, it ends up, being against him.
Yeah, you're right. That's the twist there. So he drinks the potion and he falls down dead. And I love the way he falls down dead too. This is actually shot well. He falls down onto the bed, out of frame, and then his feet pop up into frame and then fall back down. I like the way he fell down to die. And then from this scene, we go to heaven, basically.
Yeah, just like that.
So he's in heaven. He died. He went to heaven, which do you think he should go to heaven given what he did?
See, that's what it makes sense to me. I understand he didn't do anything sinful, like murder or anything that's kind of big, but
what he did was sinful.
I mean, yeah, he groped her realistically,
and basically
drugged her.
Right, exactly.
So it was weird that he went to heaven at the time.
Yeah, I don't think he should go to heaven. However, with the next thing that's about to happen, maybe he's not in heaven.
Right.
She arrives.
She arrives.
And she basically says, honey, oh, I couldn't bear to live without you, so I jumped out of the window. And there she is with a hideous, grotesque face that had just fallen out of a window. So, and she's there and he's there, and they're going to be there forever, and she can always love him for the rest of eternity. And that's his punishment. That's the twist. And this ending, there's a few things I liked about this episode. I did. But as a whole, it couldn't come in close, it couldn't come soon enough, the ending of this episode. Let's get into the Crypt Keeper outro. So at this point, the Crypt Keeper is sitting on a statue or sitting with a statue. And he says, good old Edward, he should have stuck to sending MASH notes. Did you ever send MASH notes in elementary school?
I don't know what MASH notes are.
Really? It's a me thing. So I was born in the 80s. And in the early 90s, in elementary school, we all did these MASH note things. So on the very top of your page, you would write MASH. And then you'd have a box down below. And then across each box, you'd have the name of,
oh, yes.
Random girls.
I've done this.
And then down below, you'd have the name of different professions. And then you'd have a list of, different pets or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Someone did it for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I didn't do it. Yeah.
the MASH was you either live in a mansion. If you landed on M, you lived in a mansion. If you landed on A, it was an apartment. If you landed on S, it was a shack.
Oh, okay.
If you landed on H, it was a house.
It's a house.
Right. So you can live. So best case scenario, you live in a mansion with the love of your life, having a great job with your favorite pet. Right.
I see.
And then the worst case scenario, you live in a shack with the ugliest girl in class.
I see.
With an awful job as a janitor or something, right? And
with
then
no pet.
And then or like a crocodile.
Or something.
Pet,
okay.
Right? So anyway, he should have stuck to sending MASH notes. Maybe then he wouldn't have ended up in a state of holy deadlock.
I like that.
At this point, he's sitting or laying in bed with another skeleton or ghoul or whatever.
His wife or something.
Right. And he takes a smoke of his cigarette and he turns to the skeleton next to him and he says, so was it good for you too? And at this point, her head falls off and just rolls off to the bed. And he says, oh, talk about head over heels.
I love that.
That was good. Yeah.
That's my shriek of the week.
Oh, nice shriek of the week. Oh, shriek of the week. I've got to have one too before we get too far into this because I've been forgetting lately. Oh, yes. My shriek of the week is actually going to be when he falls down dead and his feet just barely get into frame and then fall back down. I thought that was so funny. And that also harkened back to, remember in episode 2 of season 1, when the wife axed the husband in the head and then all you see is his feet pop into frame and then pop back down.
Through the house?
When she's outside by the well. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I thought you mean by the couch and the fire
No,
poker.
not in that
The
spot.
axe.
Yeah,
Yes. I
So I do like that one. That was my shriek of the week. So overall, tell me, what did you think of this episode?
I will agree with you from what we spoke before. The pacing it could use some work. Maybe a different person for the role of Edward.
Yeah, a different actor would have been much helpful. He was not leading man material, and it was just quite boring to follow along with him. I didn't like it.
Usually the identity of the characters are very strong, but this one, it doesn't really matter if he's a writer or not. The motive of the manager was really obscure. But I think I'll just give this I think since the first episode, this will be my baseline for a 3, realistically. I think this will just be my average ones, and then I can base off if it's better or worse, usually.
Okay. Yeah, the pacing was bad. There was a lot of scenery changes without much happening. Especially during my rewatches when I was making my notes for this episode, I realized when does this happen? When does that happen? What's going on here? Let's go with the story already. It was happening too slow because I feel like this could have been a 15-minute episode, maybe. I could not relate to any of the characters. I like that old lady. The super was a mysterious character. I didn't really relate to him, but I liked him at least. Maybe more of that. Maybe it would have been fun to have that old lady neighbor. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she was going through his trash and accidentally drank some of the potion. And then she was also after him. Wouldn't that have been kind of fun to have something like that? Or
love
something?
triangle?
Yeah, or something.
That would have been fun, but I think you also forgot to mention when the first time Miranda drank the potion, the old lady comes outside the door and hears
their
initial lovemaking.
I do remember that. When they first have the potion, they're in there making love, and she comes out and she overhears it.
She's like, ooh. ooh.
And she's like, ooh, and then she just gets a smile on her face. I do like that. Yeah. We needed more of her. Yeah. How funny is that? Like just so 2-scene side character. It like takes your MVP. She's my MVP right there. So altogether, I didn't like the episode. You gave it a 3. 3 what?
3 what? I will say I'll give it 3 wigs. You know, at one point or another, because he always because she's brunette. So this whole episode, she's a brunette with straight long hair. But when he fantasizes about her or about Luis in his book, he's a blonde with a curly hair. Yeah. And I wish at some point, doing their like rough lovemaking, he just like slaps on a wig.
Right.
Like, this is my...
Because she does end up wearing the wig by the end of the
She does.
Yeah. It would have been nice to have him in the throes of passion, be like, wait a minute, and then reach in and grab and put that on. It would have been nice to have. That would have been a funny moment, yeah. I'm going to give this 2 nipples. 2 nipples. And for those of you who actually watch this episode, you'll know there's quite a few nipples in this episode. So I'm going to say 2 nipples. All right. Well, with that, we are going to end our very first episode of season 3. Don't forget, we have 2 more episodes coming today. So if you're watching this on the day of its release, you can watch 2 more episodes because we're releasing all 3 episodes the same day, just like the actual Tales from the Crypt season 3 premiere happened. So 1, 2, 3, here we go. Don't forget to correspond with us if you have any questions or comments, or you agree or disagree with anything that we're saying here. Make sure to drop it in the comments. We love to read the comments. We love to get engagement out of you guys. We love to be a platform to share and have a community around a show that, Godden, you and I love this show.
We enjoy it so much. Even the bads. We enjoy the bads. Don't get us wrong,
Oh, if I had some friends over and they were desperate to watch this episode, I'm not going to tell them no.
No, but I would offer more fun ones.
Right. Yeah. There's other better ones out there, but if you really want to watch this, let's go for it, right? Like I'm like, all of my criticism comes from a place of love.
Yes, of course. We don't hate it.
Love this show. So we're happy to have you come along with us. Next episode, I'm just going to spoil it right away. Next episode is a banger.
Yeah.
A banger.
It's hard to find our bads or flaws with it. I think it might be near perfect.
Yeah. This next episode is a good one. So season 3, episode 2 is going to be Carry On Death. So tune in for that one. And if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it now. So you're ready to watch it when you click on that video, because it's such a great episode. So I cannot wait to talk about that one. Me too. And we're actually going to have a special guest when we talk about that episode. So tune into that episode for a very special guest, very close friend of mine, to talk about Carry On Death. That's going to be, I was going to say next week. Now.
Yeah,
you can click on it now and go watch it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have yourself a good few minutes, and we'll see you for Carry On Death.
Well, how was that for a scream, boys and ghouls?